Greetings, Tarnish, and welcome to another episode of Elden Dogs. I am, of course, your host, Lord Ansbach. Just a cool guy, really smart, and despite being inebriated on Mikula juice, I still know I got my eyes on the prize, what I'm trying to say here. Who else is with us?
And I'm Lady Freyja. And I may or may not have had a couple gin and tonics last night.
Ooh.
I may or may not have a headache. That's up for the listener.
Lady Freyja, getting saucy.
You know, I've started drinking gin lately, and I don't hate it. It's not great, but I don't hate it.
Okay. Well, I know it's one of the healthier liquors, so that's a good thing.
Is it really?
Yeah, I mean, clear liquor is generally healthier, I want to say.
But brown is so good.
But brown gets you to town, you know, as the kids say. This is, of course, Elden Dogs, your favorite podcast about Elden Ring and going home, going to your hometown.
And punching the quarterback of the high school football team from 20 years ago right in the nuts.
That's what those tree sentinels are. They're the quarterbacks that never left home.
Yep. You just got to go. You got to give them a 1-2.
They got a great local construction business, though, but they got arrested for laundering. Small town living. What are you going to do?
Yeah, it happens.
Today is, if you're on our Patreon, which all the cool people are on our Patreon.
Shout out cool people.
It's episode 54 for Patreon members.
Jeez Louise.
And if you're not on our Patreon, heck, it's probably 40, maybe. It's been a journey, but we're getting near the end of the DLC before we hit some of the other topics we're going to cover. But today we're doing the Scaduview. It's the area, the other side, like the B side of the Shadowkeep, as well as underneath the Shadowkeep, behind the Shadowkeep, and what it was protecting and safeguarding. Otherwise, I call it the B side, but for Lady Freyja here, it's actually the first way into the Shadowkeep.
Yeah, it's the A side. Who would have known? In a game of exploration, I took the one wrong path. I guess there are no wrong paths, and I do appreciate that you can get to different places different ways in this game. But I wish I would have gone in the front door.
Your way just confuses the shit out of me.
Yeah, it was weird.
But I guess you're not the only one, I'm sure. Now, the next main episode is going to be covering the Finger Ruins, and there's a little overlap between these two. They're kind of like you can't do one without the other. So we're going to reference some things from the Finger Ruins, such as where we enter is past the Cathedral of Manasmeter, which we're talking about in the next episode. But that gets us into the church district of the Shadowkeep, which if I lived there, I probably wouldn't go that often. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really go that often now. And if everything in
you
the world...
You don't go to church.
No, I don't. I don't.
You don't. I mean, it's true. You don't go often, but you also don't go.
That's true. Yeah, I don't go to church. But if I was living in a world where everything wanted to kill me, I probably still wouldn't go. Because stepping out your front door is scary. And when the church is flooded, that's an even bigger bummer.
It actually would make me want to go more, I think.
At least you could swim.
I think you and I both know what our real church is.
What's that?
Vanguard.
Yeah, that's
where
true.
we go to worship. Worship that dirty burger and that South Buffalo poutine.
Oh, yeah. That actually sounds great right now.
So the church district got flooded. I think this was due to a furry convention. Someone clogged the toilets, and all of a sudden it flooded everywhere. That's a true story. That happened at a hotel. The furries were banned from all hotels in the region after that.
Because did they purposely clog the toilets?
Yes.
Yeah, of course they did.
Yeah, it's up to be like pooping in the pool and stuff. That's not here, though. The church district is flooded, potentially for like an area denial. Maybe they were trying to prevent anyone from getting through the church district, because getting through the church district is how you get back to the Scaduview, and potentially if it was flooded, it would stop us. But we're resourceful. So when we enter, we can see, the whole, like, everything below 2 stories is water.
Yep.
So
I thought hurricane season was over.
I thought hurricane season was over. I don't love platforming puzzles in Elden Ring.
No, I mean, the charm is definitely, I guess I wouldn't say it's worn off, but I definitely have platforming fatigue with this game because I always feel like I'm going to miss something. So I end up jumping around all crazy, trying to like make sure I'm not overlooking anything sometimes. And when I could just be beelining it.
Well, and the fact is also to be running and jumping, you have to do the claw technique.
Yeah,
where you
true.
bring that pointer finger up to hold the circle button, and because you want to be sprinting when you do your jumps. The whole thing is kind of just designed to be a little frustrating, but
Oh yeah.
yeah, you'll you start jumping in the church district, and to your left there's like this kind of a circular pillar area. You go over there and you notice something's in the water.
Uh-oh.
I think this is a missed opportunity. I was really hoping for an underwater boss,
Yeah.
and it really isn't.
I was like, great, I'm going to have to jump on all these roofs while the thing from Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, pops out and fucks my
The
day up.
Watcher.
The Watcher is what they call it.
That's what it's called.
Really?
Yep. Or Blingorn.
That's crazy.
Of Phelan.
I knew it was a Phelan.
It was pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Gandalf actually dated it in high school.
That's sweet.
Yeah, that's Rings of Power stuff. But yeah, this is right when this started happening. I'm like, oh fuck yeah, dude, this is cool.
Yeah, it gives you like a little bit of like Jaws before you see the shark. That little like anticipation, the excitement that like, ooh, what's in there?
It could have been cool. I wonder if I'm sure somebody has defeated the, because what's down there is an ulcerated tree spirit, and it's operating not in water physics. It's not like moving slow. It's just under the plane of water and kind of moving at regular speed. I wonder if anyone's actually killed it before lowering the water. It sounds painful and annoying.
Yeah, not ideal at all.
We jump around on these roofs for a little bit. We get frustrated. There's crabs. There's undead people. It's stupid. We hate it. You do enter the top of the church, and you jump in, and we do see for our final time Mr. Berries and Cream himself, Fire Knight Quelan.
Yep.
Still doesn't got a haircut. It's a shame. He had a lot of opportunities.
Yeah.
He could have done it himself. He had a big old sword spear. We first met him in the Ballarat Tower settlement and at the Church of the Crusade outside of the Shadow Keep. He came from a nicer family like the other Fire Knights. A boy of privilege. He never received Queen Marika's blessing despite his obsession and devotion. Look at me, please.
It's like, dude, you have some self-respect.
Dude, get yourself together.
Get it together.
She might notice you if you weren't such a blubbering little bitch.
Yeah, maybe stand up on your own 2 feet, huh?
He's crying in the corner of this room.
Just being a baby.
Just being a baby, begging for Marika's blessing. Just mindlessly tweeting at her, liking her Instagram posts. It's really sad.
When you like her Instagram posts at 2:30 in the morning, that's creepy, especially the posts from months ago. Because then it's like you've been searching the page all night. It's creepy.
Dude, this guy's got the worst profile pic in history, I guarantee it.
Oh, 1,000%.
Now, you can give him the Iris of Grace or the Iris of Occultation. The Iris of Grace is blessed with an incantation of the Erd Tree, and it's used to quell the fears in their flock. Marika gives this to you if she likes you. If you give this to him, he will become the Spirit Ash Fire Knight Quelan. Wields a spear-like greatsword that impales foes upon fire, keeping the taint of impurity away from fair Mother Marika. Calm down, brother.
Calm down, brother.
That grace was his salvation, though it was but a fleeting blessing. And having been saved, all that was left to him was to wage war. Or you give him the Iris of Occultation, and this iris is dark as night, and it denies light in all forms, used to intensify the fears of their flock. This is if she doesn't like you. And this gives you his weapon, Quelan's greatsword, which is a weighty piercing sword with a blade that undulates like fire. Quelan devoted his all to the crusade and remade his greatsword in the shape of the lance wielded by his liege, aspiring to become a second impaler. Heavy thrusting sword that can be modified with ashes of wars and buffs, which is very cool.
Yeah, I like those.
And strength, dexterity, and faith. But we get to this church area and we lower the water.
Yeah, drain it. So you lower the water. You got to fight some bats, jump around, a little more platforming.
House of Pain.
Yep. Once the water goes down, like we said, there's an ulcerated tree spirit under there.
So dumb. These are the only ones, I believe, in the DLC.
I was happy to not see them.
Oh, look at you, slimy, slippery, great. Stop it. Quit moving. Go home.
Stand still so I can stab you.
Just stand still there, buddy.
Don't move.
Nobody likes you.
Drops an iris of occultation.
As well as
an incantation of the Mantle of Thorns. Sorcery for those who have abandoned the practice of incantations after devout faith rewarded them with only despair. The caster wounds their own flesh using impenetrable thorns grown from the Scaduview tree. Scaduview tree. Why is there a C in it?
You say it like somebody who's never spoke Swedish trying to speak Swedish or something.
Oh, man, that's weird. It's like almost true. Scaduview tree. The caster wounds their own flesh, which then covers the body entirely. Once covered, dodge rolls will damage enemies.
For your Sonic the Hedgehog build.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You could actually make one. I did watch a guy play, and he played as Sonic.
That's unfortunate for everyone.
And he played the entirety of the base game.
But the character model was stupid.
It was very dumb.
All blue, wearing shorts. Yeah, we know.
The image of the misshapen Scaduview tree is an edict. Burn all that exists. Wound all that exists. For we have been abandoned. It'll add 87 physical damage to rolling for your Sonic build, like Brad said.
It's pretty dramatic. Like, oh, we've been spurned.
Yeah, this
wound them all.
It's a little emo.
It's a little emo, which is normally up your alley.
Yeah, but lately I've been listening to a lot of hip hop and pop music.
A little more creamo.
A little creamo, yeah.
Yeah, the cream of the crop. Oh yeah. Inside of the church, we find a Fire Knight.
Yeah, we go. We've talked about this guy before.
We go. Lego my Wego. I like Wego.
Yeah, he's got the coolest name.
I would go Wego, but I'm going to go Wego today.
Wego?
He's Wego, dude.
He's got the coolest name out of the Fire Knights, I think.
Way more than Queelan.
Yeah. Oh, Queelan is stupid.
Yeah.
Sounds like Queef.
Queefin.
Queefin.
That's what they called him in school. He was, leave me alone, I'm telling mama.
Berries and cream. And then he skipped out of the classroom.
Angrily.
Well, he did that thing where he runs really fast and then jumps up and clicks his heels.
Dude, I'm in.
Yeah.
Tell us about Wego.
Well, Wego is gnawed at by loneliness. The old man turned his attention to the spirituality of Mesmir's flame, using it in a rite of resurrection. Yet the soulless bodies he brought to life were no comfort to poor Wego.
That's sad, man. Even your zombies aren't enough of a friend for you.
Yeah, because you can bring back the husk, but you can't bring back the soul.
I think you're just looking for friends in the wrong places, buddy.
And you can't manufacture that by raising the dead. You know who tried and failed?
Many serial killers. I've listened to the podcasts.
Yeah.
That one dude who just like dug up bodies and made dolls out of them.
Ed Gein?
No, this is like a Russian dude.
Oh, really?
The parents didn't know that all the dolls were actually human bodies.
That's creepy.
I have a feeling that guy was still lonely, though, despite all of his pretty dollies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's reviving his zombies, his putrid corpses here. One of the few enemies that speaks.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Which is interesting.
Yeah, you don't get that often where just like a regular enemy says anything.
Unless you talk to Bach and then just hit him right away.
Well, he's not an enemy,
you
dude.
You could make him an enemy.
No, stop it. Leave him alone, dude.
I did. He's still a
No,
vegetable.
You didn't. You helped him and killed him.
I know. Well, I've left him alone since then. He's still a vegetable.
The handsome vegetable.
Is he, though?
I thought he was perfect the way he was.
Yeah. So the enemy says, fire, take seed in death and rise again.
Whoa, dramatic reading much.
Yeah. I'm playing Dungeons and Dragons later tonight. I got to start getting into the voice.
And I'm Grogu.
It's a little deeper.
And I'm Grogu.
That's actually pretty cool.
That was the lowest falsetto I could do, which is a weird thing to try.
You find some armor, the death mask helm. Two wrapped death masks stacked one on top of another. Reduces FPs used to summon spirits by 12%. I like seeing those double-digit percentages.
Yeah.
I like, if you're going to reward me, reward me.
Ooh, makes me less hungover by 2%. Get fucked.
Don't need that.
No.
12% though? It's worth it.
Still, I need a 50% immediately.
I know you'd like to see bigger numbers. These are still rookie numbers.
It's called a Bloody Mary. Reduces hangovers by 39% every time.
And the chaser will lead you down the path of just getting drunk again.
The chaser is the issue, man.
That's where
because all it is generally just like a little high life, and that is never what you want in the morning.
Sometimes it works.
I'm no alcohol left behind.
Oh yeah, if there is beer in the house, we are going to drink it.
Where is it? Beer, take seed in me. Rise, drunk Brad.
You can find the Fire Knight's seal, a sacred seal of the Fire Knights who answer directly to Mesmir the Impaler. Enhances fire incantations of Mesmir. The emblem of Mesmir's army depicts a golden ring on the fire of his sacred seal. Boosts Mesmir's flame incantations by 15% when equipped. These include Rain of Fire, Fire Serpent, and Mesmir's Orb.
Yep, that's Wego there. Now, there's a couple of ways to get out of the church district. One of them takes us down an elevator, way down to the Tree Worship Sanctum. Here, we're going to find like this swampy little area under the Shadow Tree, and it is where we find a boss, the Shadow Tree Avatars. Now, this is interesting because before I got the strategy guide, the Shadow Tree Avatar was just a single enemy that resurrected 3 times. Something interesting the guide says is that it's actually 3 different avatars that you fight. You defeat one, then the next, and the next. It is essentially a 3-phase fight, though. The Shadow Tree is the shadow of the Erd Tree, born of dark notions that bear no sense of order, that twist and bend its stalk, rendering it brittle. The Shadow Tree Avatar gave me a little bit of trouble the first time I fought it. It's a big sunflower boy.
Yeah, definitely. But you know me. Most things give me trouble the first time I fight it.
Blasphemous Blade is good, though, because this guy is weak to fire. Very weak to fire.
I think last time I fought this guy, I had the same issue where like I almost beat him my first try, and then my subsequent next 4 tries, I didn't even get close.
Don't you hate that?
And it's almost, I feel like the game's almost programmed to do it sometimes.
Nope. I think it's idiocy just works sometimes. And then when you try and be smart, you do worse.
Yeah, that is true. Because when you need that last hit, I just panic sometimes. And then I start button mashing. And I forget that button mashing is not what got me to this point where I almost killed the boss.
This ain't Kingdom Hearts, dude.
No.
Need a little bit of strategery. This is a weird boss fight. For one, the Shadow Tree Avatar, it starts off very far away. It's all about projectiles and moving around the arena super fast. It's got 4 crazy arms, does a lot of spinning. It's a fast boss with a lot of area it covers. Now, when you deplete its health bar all the way, it drops down and the sunflower starts glowing. You must land a critical hit to kill it to trigger the next phase.
Oh, really?
Yes, which sucks. If you take it... Wait, yeah, actually, no, that's not true. I thought it was. How this works is it becomes vulnerable to a critical hit. If you take advantage of the critical hit, it starts the next phase with 30% less HP.
Is the bar just lower, or does it actually like reduce the overall health?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Regardless, you want to hit those critical hits. It's going to help you out a lot. The next phase, it starts off with a lot of like a bull just sprinting past a matador, and it's just me dying. And you want to hit those hits, and then when you finally defeat the Shadow Tree Avatar, you get the Remembrance of the Shadow Sunflower, which this can give you the Shadow Sunflower Blossom. If you ever wanted to just smack someone with a big sunflower, I got a weapon for you.
Here's your chance.
It's a colossal sunflower, scales with strength, faith, and dexterity. The head of a monstrous shadow sunflower, manifestation of the Shadow Tree. Then again, it might just be a flower wielded as a weapon. Much like the Shadow Tree itself in appearance, a second stalk winds tightly around the first, almost as if in a tender embrace. Unique skill, the Shadow Sunflower Headbutt. Slam the blossom of a large shadow sunflower, sending out a shockwave that flattens foes. Repeated inputs allow for up to 2 follow-up attacks.
Could you imagine getting your ass kicked by a sunflower weapon?
Always. I get my ass kicked by everything. Now, that was Vare. The White Mask Vare also had the bouquet weapon.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He did.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy.
The other option for you is the Land of Shadow incantation, which creates a hail of golden projectiles which are fired towards foes after a brief delay. This incantation channels the force of the Shadow Tree's power, and its gold is accompanied by shadow. It's a golden burst that knocks down enemies while creating projectiles that linger shortly before firing towards enemies. And if used without locking on, the projectiles fire at random directions, and this is a long-range attack.
Hell yeah.
And down here as well, you find Miquella's Great Rune. So when you are approaching the Shadow District, or if you're approaching the Shadow Keep, the Church District, or approaching these, when you see the great somewhere a Great Rune has been broken, this was where it was at, or he did it up above and threw it down here. Great Rune relinquished by Miquella, broken and bereft of its bounty, it retains not but the power to resist charms. Miquella set off for the tower, enshrouded by shadow, abandoning everything, his golden flesh, his binding strength, even his fate, all in an effort to bury the original sin. What do you think his original sin was? Coveting his neighbor's lawnmower?
Probably. His neighbor's lawnmower.
Damn, I like that lawnmower. That's it, dude. Go to church.
How dare you?
The original sin. What is original sin? I went to fucking Catholic school and I don't remember.
Yeah, you should know this.
I think you were just born, like, humans were born with, like, guilt and sin. And that's why Jesus had to go die about it to, like, prevent us from original sin.
Isn't it eating an apple?
Man.
Eating apples is a sin.
If you want to talk about Elden Ring shit, I'm all about that. But the lore of God, I forget.
It's only the best-selling book of all time.
I don't know. Maybe.
It's got to be.
It's the most proliferated book. It's the most read book. Or at least, actually, that's probably not true either.
No,
because I've owned 5 Bibles incidentally in my life, and I've never read a page.
I have 2 at my house, and I've read the first 2 books.
I'm always like, dude, I'm going to read it. And I'm like, fuck, this sucks.
Well, yeah, because Genesis, it just takes forever. It's like this guy lived to be 800, and his son lived to be 700, and his daughter lived to be 500.
If you can take the creation of the universe and make it boring as shit, you should be fired. They need a new author for that book. Imagine if, who's your favorite author?
Oh, fuck. Christopher Buehlman, probably.
Imagine if he wrote the Bible. Imagine if George R. R. Martin wrote the Bible. There'd be a lot more titties.
There'd be a lot more vampires if Buehlman did it.
Dude, there'd be just drunken debauchery. Sorry, we're talking about Elden Ring. Yes, all in an effort to bury the original sin, America's betrayal, whatever the sin was to create the Erd Tree to elevate America. I believe that's the original sin. To embrace the whole of it and be reborn as a new god. So Miquella had to get rid of this to try and elevate himself at any limb. Cut content refers to this great rune as the Rune of Abundance, and we don't know anything else about that great rune, what it did, other than Miquella threw it away. Kind of like Luke Skywalker with a lightsaber.
When he just tosses it over his shoulder.
I loved it, controversially.
I didn't think it was bad.
I thought it was funny.
So we can go back into the Shadow Keep, the storehouse back section here.
Or the front door for you.
The front door for me.
Yep.
Super stoked for me because we had been talking about the melee shields.
Those, yep.
And I immediately found the Carian thrusting shield, which did I respec so I could use it for a little bit because I was so jacked about it? Yes.
Did you not like it?
Did I not like it all that much? Yes.
Yep.
But the idea is cool.
It is.
The Carian thrusting shield, great design. It's like a fucking silver shield that's got like a little spike at the end. And you just punch dudes with it.
I like that all the weapons in the game are somewhat rooted in a real weapon type throughout history.
Yeah.
Which thrusting shields and like shield weapons, whatever you want to call them, that's there's historical significance. It is a true thing.
Yeah.
A giant sunflower. Someone got hit with one before.
Someone's got a core memory somewhere. Growing up on a farm and his brother just beating his ass.
Ow, why'd you do that? That hurt. You know I don't like sunflowers.
You know I'm allergic.
Ow. That went right in my eye. I'm telling.
The carry-on thrusting shield, once wielded by R'hllana.
Yep.
Nailed it.
Not Renala.
No, I almost said R'hllana.
R'hllana. Once wielded by R'hllana.
The Twin Moon Knight, during her sole entry into the ritual combat, a demonstration of fidelity to the Erd Tree.
I like that they had ritual combat.
Yeah, that's pretty dope.
Yep.
Well, you kind of fight her in that little Colosseum-looking thing, too.
No, that was a moon watching ground.
It felt like a Colosseum.
That's why it was all water on the bottom with chairs so they could look down at the water and watch the moons above.
Oh, that's cool.
It is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's actually much cooler than just a Colosseum.
Yep. I wonder who she fought in the arena.
Fucking whoever they are, they're dead now.
Queelan.
Probably.
Crying in the corner.
You can... do you go up to the loft here?
Yeah, there's not a ton of things actually in this back section. It's pretty quick. They give you a couple elevators, so you do shoot right up to the top unless you like jump down to the regular area or something.
Yeah, and I remember looking up at the storeroom or storehouse, and you can just see like the thing, like the fucking, like you go to the museum and like how they got the whale like hanging in the ceiling, like the bones and shit.
Yep.
But you see all these cross pillars up there. And I just know that I have to platform across these bitches somehow. Mm-hmm. So coming in through the back way, my immediate plan was to go up no matter what, which is why I found the hippo last.
Yeah. Then you wound up where you came from. You're like, what the fuck am I? How did I get down here?
Dude, I was so confused. You can find an incantation, Wrath from Afar. It's an Erd Tree incantation, fires a golden shockwave that knocks back nearby foes. Charging increases the size of the shockwave. When the Elden Ring was shattered, the people of the realm of the shadow felt it too, and feared it was a sign of the Erd Tree's wrath. That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yep.
Because
because they were already here, and they're like, fuck.
Yeah, it's like when a transformer blows in your neighborhood, you're like, oh, fuck.
Something happened.
Something bad happened.
You're aware something happened.
Yeah.
Yep.
So damage is quite weak with Wrath from Afar, but knocking enemies down is it's a good reward.
It's its own reward.
Yeah.
Because you get this, and there's a Fire Knight kind of guarding it, and you just he's Wrath from Afaring you. And I want that.
Yeah.
Especially when you're trying to... It doesn't take much when you're on a narrow pillar, like a little narrow pathway. It just takes a little bit of off balance, and you just fall to your death.
Yeah. So knocking enemies off ledges and knocking them prone, big plus.
Very cool.
I'll trade that for some damage. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally fine by me. You can find a Spirit Ash, the Fire Knight Hilde, spirit who belong to the Fire Knights, an order of which answers directly to Mesmir.
Them Fire Knights.
Hilde swings a slender greatsword and casts fire incantations. Hilde was a dear friend to Salza, the sage, and joined those who urged that the specimens be preserved. Hilde's ashes were enshrined as a charm to protect the storehouse.
These Fire Knights wanted to protect the storehouse, and as we'll learn later on, they wanted to protect the ruins as well. I'm excited to talk about them next episode. Down at the bottom here, so we go all the way to the top, and then we go all the way back, and so you take the elevators down, and you're on the ground behind the Shadow Keep now, and you open this door, and off in the distance, there's a dude riding a fucking boar full speed at you.
Super heavy metal. I love it.
I was like, hey. He's just fucking barreling full speed at us. And this was, besides Radon, the most difficult boss my first playthrough.
He's definitely up there, yeah. I do think that him riding the boar was probably one of the coolest and the funniest things I had seen in the game.
It's like the fucking third Hobbit movie.
That's kind of what I was thinking, yeah.
The dwarves riding boars. That movie was a bore. So what's tough about this, we'll talk about Gaius, but if you die, which you will, because you're not ready, before they patched it, you would open the door and he wouldn't be far away anymore. He'd be fucking like right outside the door, and you'd have no no time to react. They patched it to where he started like spawned further away on subsequent attempts.
I remember reading about that. Do you think it was a bug, or do you think they were just like, we're gonna make this really fucking hard?
I mean, it's supposed to be reminiscent of Radon and Leonard. I think that's why he's writing something that's supposed to kind of be like the fight with Radon. And he's just a tough guy. Gaius rides atop the boar he calls his other half. It's like how I call my kitten, Martin. He's my other half. I'm like, fuck, now I feel even worse. This dude loves his horse, and he calls it his other half. He sounds like a good dude.
Yeah.
I don't want to fight him.
He's got a badass name.
Gaius was, in fact, a warrior of Albinaric extraction. He doesn't have legs. Below the knee, his legs are like withered and gone. That's because he's an Albinaric, and sometimes Albinarics turn into big, bad motherfuckers, I guess. Gaius was the most senior disciple of the same Alabaster Lord who taught Radon and Gaia gravitational technique. That's the boar's name, Gaia. Sweet little lady.
Gaia and Gaius.
Yeah. This is my cat, Broadly. Both were as elder brothers to the lion, and both were cursed from birth. In spite of, or perhaps because of this very reason, Gaius was both Mesmer's friend and the leader of his men. So Gaius and Mesmer both acted kind of like older brothers to Radon. This bit of dialogue informs us on the order of birth. We know Mesmer. I mean, we talked about Mesmer. I believe him to be the first of America's children, the one that's kind of hidden, but he was also not... he was around with Radon when Radon was a kid, acted like an older brother, which is kind of cool. And Gaius was there as well. A couple rapscallions probably getting into trouble. Got the cops called on him a few times.
I would love to watch a Stand By Me type fucking film about these three growing up.
And then there'd be a little Ronnie too.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I think Mesmer, Gaius, and Radon are three of the more interesting characters. I think maybe it's just because of character design and because of the way their battles work out. But I fucking love them.
Going to gravitational magic school.
When we picked our characters at the beginning of this, when I picked Freyja, I liked Freyja. But I might have picked Gaius if I had found him fast enough.
Yeah. Loves his pet.
No, I love my pet.
Homie with Radon, homie with Mesmer. And I think he might be so mad because he's protecting his wife. Like his girlfriend is back there too. It's the only thing he's really protecting back here. So maybe he's just trying to this is my home.
Are we the villain?
Yes.
Yes, we are.
Yes, confirmed. Gaius and Radon were good rivals in their youth, and this sorcery is a product of their friendly competition. So yeah, he's he's aggressive, and he's a bit of a son of a bitch. Now, my first time, I cheesed him. I don't like to say it out loud. I feel bad even mentioning it out loud.
How did you cheese him?
I forget the name. There is a frost area of effect spell you get up on the mountaintops of the giants, and there's a little corner. If you're on one corner, Gaius gets stuck on the other corner, and you can just sit there and just keep gently freezing him.
I tried to do that with the fire giant.
Yeah.
Because apparently there's a spot on the mountain up there when you're fighting him.
Some more ice storm. I think it's the name of the spell.
Sorry. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried to do the same thing with the fire giant because the fire giant gave me hell.
Yeah. I cheesed it the first time. Second time I fought him, it wasn't as bad, but maybe that's because it was post-patch. Now, summon a Spear Dash, something to distract him, and just hope to get lucky. You can use your horse, but he gets really aggressive if you bring your horse into the fight. Either way, we defeat this friendly Albinoric who's just protecting his lady. Seems like a nice guy. Sorry, dude. You get the remembrance of the wild boar rider. You can get either the sword lance weapon, which is a heavy thrusting sword, scales with strength and dexterity. Combination of great sword and lance, weighty and capable of being brought to bear with great force. This armament shows its true potential when used astride a mount. Gaius himself was never without his boar. Heavy thrusting sword, very cool. Or you get the Blades of Stone Sorcery. It's a gravity sorcery that pulls blade-like clumps of rock from the earth, charged to form 3 successive clumps. That's also the name of the third Nutty Professor film. 3 successive clumps.
So, yeah, after we put down Gaius, and if you're a good person, you feel bad about it. If you're a bad person, you just keep on trucking to the Albinuric shack and you don't think twice about it.
You kill Gaius first, and the boar is really sad and kind of nudges him with its tusks.
Yeah. Oh, God.
And then you kill the boar.
When you get to the Albinuric shack, you can find a talisman here, Sharp Shot Talisman. Increases arrow damage by 12% while aiming with the crosshair in first-person view.
Fucking weird.
Put this at the top of shit I don't care about, probably never use.
I'm an archer.
I would love to make...
Only for certain times. But I'd love to watch a super awesome archer build. Some dude that's using all of the jumping and sliding and the first person is cool. I only use it very sparingly for certain things.
But 3 times.
Yeah, archery is cool. This is interesting. Increases arrow damage by 12% while in first person. It's very specific.
I would love to make a arrow build, like a sharpshooter. And I tried to do it with a stealthy build.
Yeah.
But that character was forever ago, before I even beat the base game.
I have a build that was an archer base, and it just didn't work. I tried, and he couldn't even beat Renala, and Renala's the fucking easy mode.
Yeah.
Yep.
And having to keep up with the arrows, too. You need ammo.
It is tough.
Yeah, so you spend a lot of time hunting, and I got tired of, trying to get hefty and bones and shit.
It kind of tried to make almost a Skyrim build. There was a stealth archer where it just never clicked.
Mine was named Megalus, and it was a bigger version of Legolas. I just made some beef dude.
Hi, I'm Megalus.
Hey, I'm Megalus. I go to a different school. The Sharp Shot Talisman stacks multiplicatively.
Multiplicatively.
That is not a word that exists. Stacks a lot with the with both the arrow sting talisman and the arrow soaring sting talisman for approximate 32% damage. And that's what we're talking about. That's a big boy number.
Those are big numbers. But that's
Double
also
digits.
taking up your talisman spots.
Yeah, which is not ideal, but that's maybe the biggest percentage I've seen in a long time.
Now, his girlfriend's back here too.
Oh, yeah. You can find Gaius's greaves.
She's got his pants.
Yeah. Which have leg holes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So
he
did he
also
have
doesn't-
legs at some point?
He did. Albinarics, their legs go bad early.
And then they turn into frog people.
No, that's the second generation Albinarics. The first ones look more human.
Okay.
Yep.
I was going to say, because he's handsome for a frog guy.
Well, that's just mean. I think frogs can be handsome in their own way.
Touche.
Ever seen the turtles? Not frogs, but they're handsome.
Dropped by an Albinaric archer. It's got to be his girlfriend, his wife, his partner.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Or we just kill them all.
Scorched Earth. Black iron greaves made for Commander Gaius. A cruel joke, for he could not wear them. Hey, I got you these pants. Fuck you.
I literally don't have legs. Thanks.
Oh, Gaius, I got you for Secret Santa, so I bought you these new Air Force One Nikes.
Great.
Thank you. You put them on my boar. Imagine if the boar had them then.
I know you don't drink, but this is a bourbon aged out.
I spent a lot of money on it.
Dude, they had a Dungeons and Dragons barrel aged out at
Up the street.
Yeah, at Siegel's. $55.
I saw it in the Discord, and I was like, that would have been nice for me to pick up today.
It's still there, I'm sure.
Yeah, but I don't want to spend $55.
It's way too much money, dude. You can buy the Castlevania DLC on Vampire Survivors 20 times for that much money.
Yeah, that's true.
15, something like that. Behind this lovely Albinaric archer lady is the Shadow Tree Chalice with tons and tons of Shadow Tree fragments. The Shadow Tree, we know it as the shadow of the Erd Tree. Light is cast on the Erd Tree in the dark, unseen areas that lie behind is the realm of shadow. The Shadow Tree was born of dark notions that bear no sense of order. A holy tree, but its gold is covered in impenetrable thorns. This holiness renders its blessings useless outside the realm of shadow. That's why it's a conceit for leveling up here. The image of the misshapen shadow tree is an edict. Spurn all that exists, wound all that exists, for we have been abandoned. I mean, they have. No one even knows about the realm of shadow. It's kind of off, forgotten about. These poor souls. America sent them in there and then closed the door and locked it.
Yeah, which is fucked up.
Much like the shadow tree in appearance, a second stalk winds tightly around the first, almost as if in a tender embrace. Reminds me of Ronnie's ghostly second image, the duality. America made this place obscure due to the atrocities committed against her people. To protect her village, the shadow tree must exist. This is a necessary evil in America's mind to protect where she came from, to hide the truth of her past. And because of all of that, the soldiers were sent here to wage war and to be forgotten. Sucks to suck, as they say. Yeah. And there's a door the other way. So there's a door to Gaius' arena, but then there's another door off to the right. And if you have the right gesture, you can access the hinterland.
Yeah, the hinterland. You need the Oh Mother gesture, which we're going to discuss.
Mother.
Next episode when we talk about the Finger Ruins. A giant hole is located next to 2 tree sentinels.
So you come out the back to the hinterland, and you were there just last night. So there's a giant hole right by these 2 tree sentinels, and there's a cool theory I like about it.
Speculation has this being the original location of the Erd tree. It lines up quite well, and there's the fact that these are the only 2 tree sentinels in the DLC. And
they're supposed to guard Erd trees.
And why are they here then?
They never left home, these quarterbacks.
Yeah, so
remember when we won state, dude? That was 40 years ago. Troy, that was 40 fucking years ago.
My ring still fits.
Fucking best day of my life.
Throw a football over that fucking fire golem.
But you could throw a football in that fire golem. Run!
So spoiler alert. There's 2 tree sentinels here, which means you get some bosses to fight.
Yeah. It's good. I like seeing these guys. They're also the first thing you fight after you get out of that first rival dungeon in the Lands Between.
Yeah.
And there's the guy, the tree sentinel on his horse, and you're like, better go say hi. And you get spanked.
Surely he'll be friendly. It was super funny when they started coming out with how many deaths or how many kills each boss had, and the tree sentinel being in the top 5 when the first base game came out. And it's just, I was like, I'm one of them. I'm actually probably several of them.
Everyone dies there, and not everyone continues there.
Well, teaches you an important lesson. You don't have to fight everything, at least yet. But these guys, you got to fight.
You don't have to fight them. You can ride right past them.
Or you can fight them.
Which is honestly probably the best option for a lot of Shadow of the Erd Tree for Elden Ring. Instead of going and killing everybody, maybe just ignore them.
You do have a horse. You can run.
I ran by him last time. I'm like, I don't have time for these dudes. They don't drop anything worth it.
I was on a mission last night, so I rode by them.
Yeah,
I talk a big game.
I support that. It's cool. You can also summon the Sword Hand of Night Yolan if you're in a certain part of the Finger Ruins quest. Next episode.
Yeah, so the Tree Sentinels, an order of knights dedicated to the protection of the Erd Tree, considered to be the living rampart of the Erd Tree. They carry the blessing of America. And
I'm proud to be American.
Yeah, they're garden Erd trees. So I did not know that this was speculation that this is where the original Erd tree was.
It's a big old suspicious looking hole right where the Erd tree would be when the maps are lined up. So I like it. And the Erd tree sentinels could be protecting that there. Or if you head to the right and up this path, you find the only peaceful, quiet, no enemy place in the entire game, the Shaman Village. Quiet, peaceful place. The theme of Elden Ring plays gently behind the sounds of birds flying. It's unique. The theme song, like a lighter variation of it playing, you kind of just immediately feel like, oh, okay, something. This is something. And you actually can hear like the birds flapping, and yeah, it is striking when you find this place of just verdant beauty in the midst of hell.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Shaman Village, this is the home of Queen Marika. This is where little baby Marika grew up. Was this the home to the Newman? Could be. Were the Black Knife assassins from the hinterlands? Possibly. But I'm not going to think about it anymore. I'm not going to stay up at night wondering. They might be. And regardless, this is where the shamans came from. All of the Jar people, not all of them probably, but this is where they originated from. The shaman, their flesh is uniquely able to meld and fuse with another. The horn scent had extra jars, a tale as old as time, shamans and the jars.
Sounds like a
tale as old as time.
Sounds like a
get in the fucking jar.
70s groove band.
The Shaman and the Jars.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what about their flesh is like ready to meld, but something about it is. They were living here peacefully. At some point, the horn scent discovered, I don't know who the first horn scent was that like cut some people up and like, I'm going to put it on another person. Holy shit, it worked. Jim Bob, get over here. Yeah. The shaman were then persecuted. They were forced into the jars. Horn Scent were looking to create some sort of their own living saint, their own idea of honoring their gods, their religion. And unfortunately, the shaman were part of that process. The village here is empty because all the shaman have been taken. We do see some of them in the Shadowkeep in the Jar Hospital. The Tooth Whip, which you find south of the Cathedral of Manus Metter, it's a whip bestrewn with rotting, misshapen teeth, filthy and seething with disease. The teeth are embedded in the whip and dose the victim with deadly poison upon each strike. Fucking gross. Grossest sounding weapon in the game.
Yeah, but also pretty gnarly, like in a cool way.
Ed Gein probably had one of these.
I was just thinking about Ed Gein.
I got me a nipple belt. Got me a tooth whip. I even got a toilet paper holder made out of a wiener. Doesn't work good, but bathroom's on the right. As the wounds ripen, they grow inflamed and ooze pus. The flesh of shamans was said to meld harmoniously with others. Fucking gross. Punishment for the condemned. There is one of the spirits that says, "Oh, please, not the jar. Anything but that. I promise I won't ever do it again. I swear, a living saint I'll surely be. Please, you must forgive me. Forgive me, please."
That's horrifying.
All of this sounds really bad. The shamans didn't want to be put into jars.
And the horn scent were like, "You're getting in the fucking jar.
Come on, just get in the jar.
Just for a minute. Just
a tip.
Just a tip."
Just put your foot in there. Then they just close the lid. Potentate, which is the person who guides the jar process, who takes care of the jars, says, "For pity's sake, your place is in the jar. Nigh sainthood itself awaits you within. For shamans like you, this is your lot. Life were you accorded for this alone."
Damn. Your only purpose is to be in this fucking jar. That is what you are put here to do.
This is a fucking not an uncommon idea for humanity. Entire races being considered less than. Manifest destiny, slavery. Your entire purpose is to serve. You're lucky we're taking care of you. These are like horrifying ideals that have existed before and exist again.
Yeah, I did not expect racism in my DLC.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, it's hell on earth.
It's fucking, yeah, man. The whole game is about it. Some shamans would wear a great jar while they perform their worship at jails. They offer their prayers to the innards of the great jars, such that they might be reborn one day into sainthood. This is the cycle of death and rebirth taken into the hands of mortal men. Yeah, it's like a gross mockery of reincarnation.
Yeah. Take a perfectly normal shaman, turn him into a gooey jail boy.
Much like Jesus rose again, look at this jar made out of 17 people. Isn't it nice?
This one's been stewing now for about 5 years. It's a nice barrel-aged bourbon jar. Bourbon person.
Yeah. We're really proud of this one. This one smells pretty bad, though.
There's notes of cherry and vanilla in this one. We used a brandy barrel on this boy, and he's extra gooey. No saint, but you smell him coming.
And this is the reason that since Godric is descended from America, this is why Godric can graft. I'm sure all of the demigods, if they wanted to start grafting, they could. Godric and his old uncle Godfrey are the only ones that we know did.
It's like tattoos, though. Once you get one.
Once you graft once, dude.
You're going to be grafting all the time.
Dude, look at my new leg sleeve. The other guy had the tattoo. You just grafted it on. Still counts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was much faster. I didn't have to sit there for 5 hours.
Yeah. So jars are, it's not no one likes being a jar. I guess we learn about the jars in the lands between Alexander and Little Jar Baron. The jars in the lands between have a different seal on the top. It seems that they are made in a less horrifying way. I don't know the process of how they were created, but Alexander is a happy man.
Yeah. You remember?
Or is a happy man.
Happy men, yes.
He's a happy man.
You remember like 30 episodes ago when we were wondering what's inside Alexander's jar and we didn't know?
I was like, if you tipped it over, would it all pour out?
Yeah.
But it wouldn't. It's kind of like those kids' goopy toys that you squeeze and goes.
Yep. That's exactly what it's like.
Yep.
It's like the slime version of Play-Doh.
Yeah. But Alexander, we see him eating things on the battlefield. I don't know what Alexander's core was. We don't know if he was a shaman, but the jars in the lands between, not the Realm of Shadow, seem
more content.
They're apart. They're separate.
Yeah. The jars here in these jars are, it's not good. Damn.
Wanted to make sure Carly gets coffee. Otherwise, tomorrow would be sad. Here in the Shaman Village, we find the Minor Erd Tree incantation. It's a secret incantation of Queen Merica. Only the kindness of gold without order creates a small illusory Erd Tree that continuously restores the HP of nearby allies. Merica bathed the village of her home in gold, knowing full well that there was no one to heal. Speaking of Godric, that's specifically one of his dialogue, one of his words that he uses, bathed in rays of gold. Maybe Godric longed to get back to the shaman village. But Merica took care of this place, knowing full well that the shaman were all gone, but it's still home. And she didn't want it being desecrated, and she wanted to keep it preserved. You also find inside of the trunk of a large decayed tree, you find the golden braid talisman. A braid of golden hair cut loose, Queen Merica's offering to the grandmother. Boosts holy damage, negation by the utmost. What was her prayer, her wish, her confession? There's no one left to answer, and Merica never returned home again. Golden Braid reduces holy damage taken by 22%. So she's probably just remembering her family.
Yeah.
Left an offering of her hair there. Her prayer was probably that grandma was okay and not a jar. I don't know.
Yeah. It's cool to see like where she's from and the fact that she's preserved it, because in a hellish landscape like the Lands Between, finding some place that's like peaceful and content is very rare. You remember when I murdered all of those flower girls in the first one in the base game? Where they were just like holding hands and dancing, and I was like, fuck, not today. No. But here,
that village, they killed all the men and skinned them.
Yeah, but you don't know that right away.
If you listen to the spirit outside of the village, you did.
Oh, I rode right in and just was like, easy XP, easy runes.
You started dancing with him, like, wow, cool, man.
Yeah.
So what happens at midnight?
You guys like ABBA?
No, they don't like ABBA.
You guys ever seen Midsummer?
Yeah, they might have seen Midsummer. Yeah. This is the Shaman Village, though. This is a place I like to come visit and just kind of spend some time. It's the only place that's really peaceful in the Lands Between.
It's a good spot to stand if you can leave your character there if you have to go get a beer or you got to take your dog outside.
Or if you're not going to play for a while, I like to leave my character there in a nice place.
You like to think he's just like taking a load off?
I do that when I'm done with a game for a while. Like when I'm done with an Assassin's Creed game, I find the coolest spot to go stand on top of. So when I reload it in 3 months, he's like standing up there. I'm like, oh, what's up, man?
I just make sure to point my character in the direction that I want to go.
Yeah.
So that when I boot the game back up, if I'm looking away, that's the way that I was heading. If I ever get turned around.
Yeah, that's pretty much all we have here. We're going to learn a little bit more about America on the next episode because we're going to be going to the Boney Village.
The Boney, yeah, we will.
The Boney. And that's the Scaduview. There's more back here, but that's going to get wrapped up into our Finger Ruins episode, which that's going to take us to the Cathedral of Manasmeter, and we're going to go to the different Finger Ruins, and we're going to go meet a little mother underground. And after that, we have the Raw Ruins and Anir Lim before we get into some of the other topics.
Yeah. We're cruising right along. Next episode's going to be episode 55.
And I believe for the next episode, we're going to have Zach from Square Table Gaming on again. Would be super pumped to have him back. He wants to get back on. He's like, dude, I just fucking researched the lampreys. I got to be on that one. I'm like, okay, we're going to have you on there, bro. And I reached out to another YouTuber about possibly getting her on for an Invaded by series. Her name is Moxie Watts, and she also does a lot of like Death Stranding videos. Her stuff's really nice. Good. Yep. So we'll see if we can get her on. And besides that, thanks for listening. I've been Ansbach, and I'm just still in love with Elden Ring.
This is Lady Freyja, and go make yourself a gin and tonic.
Don't do that. What I will say before we leave is I just got myself a PlayStation Portal.
I know. I went and checked it out.
She pretty.
It feels great in your hand.
Yeah, I'll let you play it before you take off, but now I can play Elden Ring in my bed.
See, and that's the dream.
That's the dream. All these people at Steam Deck's like, yeah, so? I'm a console guy. And, dude, it's so pretty. But, yeah, special thanks to our executive producers, Rykard Krisinik, Malekith the Black Blade, Blackguard Big Brian Ward, Jordan Hoslow, Sorceress of Blood, Festering Fingerprint Phil Wright, Iron Fist Phil, Just Phil. I think he got a new name.
Yeah, it's Red Bear. Thanks, Tyler.
Red Bear. Thanks, Tyler. Bell Bearing Hunter, Bryant Ross, Crucible Knight, Kelly Gutowski, and Justin, Melliesmer the Impaler. And if you want to support us as well, get access to like 10 bonus episodes immediately of Elden Dogs, as well as up to 75 bonus episodes altogether for different podcasts. Check out patreon.com/Hair of the Dogcast. And this is still the new feed. We've only been here on the Spotify for like 3 episodes, and we need reviews to beat the algorithm, which is the final boss of podcasting. And so if you have a chance to write a review, leave a review, follow if you're listening on Spotify, whatever you listen on, just do what you can, make your friends know. Otherwise, support us on Patreon if you can. And yeah, that'll be all for today. And excited to talk again next time.
Y'all be safe out there.
Take care now. Bye-bye.